new tricks. Hey, chill out.
All right. This looks promising, Overwatch. This looks very promising, Overwatch 2. You have piqued my interest.
One eternity later.
And so we're left with another difficult choice. Do we continue to pour all that effort into PvE, hoping that we can land it at some point in the future? Or do we stick with this set of values that we've aligned on and focus on the live game and focus on serving all of you? With everything we've learned about what it takes to operate this game at the level that you deserve, it's clear that we can't deliver on that original vision for PvE that was shown in 2019. What that means is that we won't be delivering that dedicated hero mode with talent trees, that long-term power progression. Those things just aren't in our plans anymore. And we know that this is going to be disappointing to many of you, which is why we wanted to bring it up before we talked about the roadmap. And to be perfectly honest, it's been really difficult for many of us and a lot of folks on the team who've poured their heart and soul into that stuff.
Well, bye-bye, Overwatch. This is the last straw for you. Well, as you can see, Overwatch 2 PvE is no more. It has gone out the window, just like Jeff Kaplan did. Welcome on in, everybody, to a new series here on the channel, Commander Bulletin, where we discuss gaming news, and news that I just genuinely want to talk about. And this being broken yesterday, I had to join in and put my 2 cents in. As I am an Overwatch player, I had the merch, I bought the game twice, PlayStation 4, when it was the shitty console meta at the very beginning of the game. That meta was awful. Rebought it on PC when I could actually have a decent PC that could play it. So, I bought this game twice at full price. So, to say the least that this game has disappointed me with Overwatch 2 is an understatement. I do not like the new monetization, which is what it really is in the end. It's not really a sequel, it's a new monetization for the game. Kind of like how HOTS, for anybody who remembers Heroes of the Storm, had a monetization rework. They did not release HOTS as a new, brand new sequel. They did call it HOTS 2.0, but it was still under the same client and everything else, which is what they could have done with Overwatch and kept Overwatch if this is what they decided on doing at some point. I am disappointed that we don't get this PvE mode. I don't blame the developers, and this is all my opinion, as I have played the game. I played it on and off, sometimes for very long strands of on, for months on, to the point where I was playing during the content drought that was during the that was during the Overwatch 1 base game from the 2019 announcement to, well, when they released the game in 2022 with Overwatch 2. I say this in quotation marks because it's really not a sequel. It was a monetization change. And I could go on an entire rant about why I'm disappointed with Overwatch 2. And it may slip in here. But we're talking about the PvE side of things. What Overwatch 2 was supposed to be. PvE. Story cinematics. Hero mode. Character progression. Talents. new ways to play the hero that you would never see in PvP. That would give them something different. We saw Tracer's bomb explode with more than just a pulse grenade. We saw Reinhardt's hammer down really hammer down. Instead of in just a cone. It went everywhere like an earthquake. And now, it's gone. They couldn't keep up with the development of both the PvP and PvE side of things. And the promises that Jeff Kaplan had made back in 2019's BlizzCon is out the window. Just like how he went. And maybe this was why Jeff Kaplan decided to leave Blizzard. Maybe. We will never know. Obviously, his press will say he left amicably. But maybe he was upset with how the direction of Blizzard Entertainment was going, or Blizzard Activision was going. Maybe he was upset that he couldn't produce the game that he wanted to. That he would want to give to us as the player base. The original concept was supposed to be Overwatch was to continue to be the staple of the game. It was supposed to be the same thing. PvP. If you wanted the PvE story mode and all of its content, you could also still play PvP through that launcher too. It didn't really matter. But they were not going to force you to play the PvE side of things if you didn't want to. Now, what we have is a free-to-play model, which I would not say is free-to-play, a battle pass system that is hot garbage. When you lock a hero inside the battle pass to level up, and that hero could potentially be OP on release, it kind of does fall into the pay-to-win aspects. And some could argue, well, it wasn't that far into the tree. But if you paid for the battle pass, you got the character immediately. Now, I am not sure if they are continuing this model with the battle pass, that there is a hero locked behind however many levels. But it was still stupid. Because in the OG game, all heroes would be playable as soon as the game launched. As soon as that hero was launched, everyone had access to it. Everyone could play them. Everyone could practice. Obviously, they weren't allowed into the ranked part of the game, which is understandable. But here we are. And then we have the outrageous prices on skins. And I never thought I would say that I would miss loot boxes. I miss loot boxes. I think there are ways that they could have improved the entire base Overwatch 1 game to outweigh the loot boxes, to pull away from them, and give us something a bit different. But then again, it wouldn't make them enough money. And that is why Blizzard has now entered this wonderful era of Battle Pass, where literally every single game they have has a Battle Pass. World of Warcraft has a Battle Pass. Hearthstone has 2 Battle Passes between the base game of the card game for their Battle Pass and Battlegrounds Battle Pass. And then you have now Overwatch's Battle Pass. I wonder if Diablo will have a Battle Pass. Could be. If they do, I hope it at least takes on WoW's Battle Pass, if anything. So what are we getting with PvE? Well, you're not getting hero point, you're not getting the hero mode, you're not getting the talents, you're not getting the customizable characters and customizable abilities. You're getting the story in smaller bites on your standard difficulty with your standard heroes as they play. That's it. That's it. What was the point of a sequel? You could have easily done what Overwatch, what HOTS did back in the day when they had a monetization change, where they went to a loot box system. You could have changed the code, made a big patch, and changed and tweaked some things to turn it free to play, and then turn on your battle pass. Did you really need to have a whole other game client, shut down the original, and put a 2 on it, and then also charge for it? Because people did pay for this game. And granted, you could say, well, it unlocked certain things. Sure, it sure did. It gave him a free battle pass, which you pretty much paid for it, but more. Some really awful looking deluxe edition skins, which is worse than the original deluxe edition skins. And you had to wait for the PvE mode. You could still buy this game of Overwatch 2. Could still buy it for a full $60. Disappointment. This entire thing has been just a huge disappointment. And I don't blame the developers. I'm sure this has to deal with the executives up in Blizzard Entertainment. For sure has to deal with them. I don't blame Jeff Kaplan for leaving, honestly. I think he probably made the right call for leaving and going wherever he went. I don't blame him. He wanted to deliver a product and a vision to the players that he promised and announced and was passionate about, and so was the development team behind him. And the executives said they want to make money. This game's not making enough money. You need to push out the content. We need to push back. Players are falling from the base game because there's nothing to do. Nothing new. It was stale. It was old. It was boring. So, they scrapped it. Talent trees are gone. No standalone version. It's gone. And I understand that things in gaming do get scrapped. Products get scrapped. All the time. I understand that too. I do. We have heard about 1,000 games at Blizzard that have been pitched, had started working on, and then never saw the light of day. I understand that. I understand that happens with a bunch of different companies. It happens. But you made this public. You had Jeff Kaplan get on stage. You had a trailer that is still up on your YouTube channel, which you might want to take down. And you had this announcement and details and everything that was coming for this mode. And that was the original version of Overwatch 2. And then you just went ahead and did a 180 and decided, hey, let's make it like most of the other team shooter games. Make it free to play. Give it a battle pass. Give outrageous prices for the fucking skins. And and what would have been a better way to do it. There was 1,000 ways you could have done this to make it so you don't have to rely on loot boxes, so you can get back into those countries that you were banned because they banned loot boxes, and make your player base continue to be happy for a world that is honestly really, really cool. I love the world. I loved its characters. My guinea pig is named after Winston from this game. I loved playing this game. I really did. And now it's just a shell of what it once was. And I know they have made some good fundamental changes to the game. I think going from 6 to 5 players on a team is way better than what it once was. The meta that was the 2 tank, 2 healer meta was awful. Awful to play as. And for so long, even with COVID as well, we didn't even have the esports. I didn't see nothing for Overwatch League the entire time. Or the World Cup. And I'm hearing that even the esports for Overwatch is getting less funding. So will we see another HOTS situation where they decide to completely just shut down the esports as well? If they do, I feel like they'd be on the chopping block next. Because it seems like Blizzard can never really get their esports scenes right. Or they're way too ambitious to make it like something else. But there, of course, just will be story. There will be the based events and story arcs for Overwatch 2. There are some co-op features. There probably won't be anything else than this. And it's going to be packaged alongside the PvP seasons. So, after one season, it may leave. And you may never get to play that story ever again. So, it's like the fear of missing out. Not only the battle pass, but also once that season's over, so does that story arc. And that's not right either. If that's how it's supposed to be. So, here's the roadmap. I am loving that Blizzard is finally listening to people, as they would never do updates for their games. And, like, provide, like, consistent updates for the games. We saw that for a long time with World of Warcraft, where nobody knew when the next patch was going to happen. Hearthstone was like the only one that would announce expansions. And then Overwatch, of course, until Overwatch 2 came out, had a content drought, and it was not being updated. So here's the roadmap. It's the same thing as per usual. It's the same thing. Don't know what this is supposed to be. Limited event. That's probably the story mode, maybe. Or I don't know what this is. This is the story mode. Don't know what this is. Some cinematic reveal and the shitty summer games that always had the worst skins. So, to say the least, I'm disappointed in the entirety of Overwatch 2. Not just because the PvE mode was scrapped, but just the direction Overwatch 2 just took. It's a scummy practice. I don't like this free-to-play BS with the overpriced skins, with heroes being locked behind a battle pass that you pay for to get instantly unlocked. And if that hero counters your hero, or is a better support than what you currently play, or is OP at launch, tough shit, you better shell out some money. Or you better grind and hope you don't get fucked by the enemy because they might have that hero. Who knows? And I want to preface this again that this is, of course, my opinions. You're likely to share yours in the comments down below. If you play this game, I'm not saying you're playing a bad game. You're not. You can play whatever the fuck you want. I really don't care. But as a player who has been playing since the OG days, since the beginning, on 2 different consoles even, bought this game on 2 different consoles, bought the merch, supported this game, really wanted more story and more out of the game than just what it has been, and the PvE could have been that, like, nice spice of the gameplay to change, and now it's just turned into, it's the same thing. Was it maybe too ambitious? Maybe. But Blizzard shouldn't have announced it the way they did and stopped putting anything out for the base game. And you could say that that's the reason why they stopped doing this. As they said on their roadmap spiel yesterday, that was the whole point of it. And that's fine. But don't publicly announce something if you may not be able to follow through with it. Because people will be upset. People will be extremely upset. And people will be disappointed. And for me, I won't be going back to Overwatch 2. I won't be going back to Overwatch, period, anymore. I haven't since they released Overwatch 2. I'm just sorely disappointed on both the PvE side of things and the PvP side of things, and just the overall direction they've taken with this battle pass. I don't really like it, and I never thought I'd say I miss loot boxes. But that is all. Leave your opinions or comments if you think I'm wrong, if you think, oh, well, I never tried the new Overwatch, so I wouldn't know how it works. I do know that they did make some very good fundamental changes. I do know that. But it is definitely masked by the monetization that is so outrageously greedy and absolutely outrageous for the skin prices, for the battle pass, for locking a hero behind a battle pass. Like I said, I don't know if they continue to do that. I have not paid attention to it. Maybe they didn't. Maybe they haven't. I hope not. But it's not right. And I'm just disappointed as a player. You can continue to play the game if you're still playing the game. Good for you. I am not. And I don't think I ever will be again. This is the last straw that broke the camel's back for Overwatch, at least for me. And I will just be an onlooker, and that is all. But thank you all so much for listening to my ramblings. Whether you liked my opinion or not, I hope you do decide to leave a like and subscribe to the channel for more content. And rest in peace, Overwatch PvE. Rest in peace.